Okay, save me a seat. The exciting conclusion. Chapter 45 is where we'll start, but let's talk about last time I read, that was chapter 40. And so Joe, it was about, let's see here, they were still doing that guessing game, and let's see here, that's when Ravi showed him the leeches, and then the next chapter 41, let's see here. Oh, remember the card said quitting is not an option, and Dylan Samreen was the one who was guessing, and he thought it was his friend Tim or Jim, but it was actually I think it was Joe. Was it Joe? Not me. I did, yeah. Oh no, it was Ravi who's it was Ravi's card, and then Joe's chapter 42. Dylan said he cheated. No one could have guessed, and he talked about how he couldn't quit, just like his dad couldn't quit and his grandfather couldn't quit. And that was 43, how they were listening to how his grandfather had to pull the leeches off of his workers. Ugh. Gross. Blood-sucking leeches even crawl into your nostril. Ugh. And then, remember, Emily got sick, threw up. Okay, and then Joe's chapter, they're all screaming and running around. And Joe has a great idea. He sees everybody's screaming and running around, and he sees his blue M&M, and then he has a great idea. Okay, so chapter 45. This is from Ravi's point of view. The smell of the vomit is overpowering. Girls are screaming, Emily Mooney is crying, and Dylan Samreen is laughing his head off. Mrs. Beam tells me to return to my seat. Then she asks us to take out our copies of Bud Not Buddy. We'll go to the library and read until the custodian has had a chance to clean up. When we return, we can continue our game. Poor Curryhead, says Dylan as I take my seat. His speech was so bad the audience puked. I ignore him and pull out my copy of Bud Not Buddy. That's when I notice a folded up scrap of paper lying on the desk beside the jar of leeches. I unfold it and read, Beware, do not touch the jar. Trust me, Joe. It has been a day full of surprises, and it seems there will be one more. Dawn, dawn, dawn. Okay, Joe. 46. As we line up and start down the hall toward the library, my stomach is in a knot. Can I really pull this off? Dylan Samreen is up ahead, sticking his tongue out at Lucy Mulligan while she ignores him. Ravi hasn't said anything to me, but I know he read the note. I saw him. I hope I'm right about Dylan, but the closer we get to the library, the more I wonder if I was crazy to think that my plan would work. And then it happens. The first domino falls. Oops, I forgot my book. Dylan tells Mrs. Beam, I'll be right back. Here goes, I think. This is it. As I turn and watch Dylan run down the hall, I think about all the mean things he's done. Not just to me, but to Ravi. Zebras have to stick together. I want Ravi to feel the way I felt when I saw that double M&M sitting in the bowl. As I watch Dylan Samreen duck into room 506, all I can do is hope that after all these years, I know him as well as I think I do. I cross my fingers and begin the final countdown. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. No! The door bangs open and Dylan comes flying out of room 506 like a bat out of you-know-where. There's a terrified look on his face and a big wet stain spreading across the front of his pants. I can't believe it. It actually worked. When I saw Dylan eyeballing those leeches earlier, I knew it was only a matter of time before he'd try to swipe them, and like everything else he's taken, I also knew where it would end up. Dylan is jumping up and down now, swatting at the front of his pants until finally the glass jar falls out the bottom of one of his pants legs and rolls across the floor. Talk about an epic sequence. Dun, dun, dun. Ravi. What kind of fool puts leeches in his pants? Loosening the lid had been a capital idea, nothing less than pure genius. Dylan is running around like a headless chicken. Then the bully of Albert Einstein Elementary School drops his pants and runs screaming down the hall in his starry underwear. Brilliant! I say a secret prayer of thanks to my grandfather and to the poor innocent leeches who sacrificed their lives for this important occasion. Later, after Dylan Samreen has called his mother to come pick him up and the cleaner has finished wiping up Emily Mooney's vomit, we return to the classroom. Would you like to finish telling us your story, Ravi? Mrs. Beam asks. No, thank you, I say. I don't need to show off anymore. I'm not like Dylan Samreen, and I never will be. I believe it's your turn to guess, Ravi, Mrs. Beam says, holding the basket out to me. I close my eyes, make a wish, and pull out a card. There is more to me than meets the eye, I read. Ah, says Mrs. Beam. Now that's a tough one, especially for you, Ravi, because you're new here. Would you like to choose another card instead? Something that might be a bit easier to guess? I shake my head. This is the card I wanted to get, the one I had wished for. I carry it over and set it down beside the glass dish with the blue candy in it. It's Joe, I say. Joe nods, then lifts his head and looks up at me. I smile and he smiles back. His eyes are brown, the color of cinnamon sticks. The cinnamon sticks Amma brought with her from Bangalore. How in the world did you ever guess? Asks Mrs. Beam, impressed. It was easy, I tell her. These candies have 4 layers. Most people assume there are only 3, but assumptions are often wrong. There is more to them than meets the eye. Did you learn that in India? No, I tell her. I learned it here, from Joe. Joe. My mom and dad are both pretty smart people, but the truth is they don't know everything. Turns out, you don't have to punch someone in the nose or blab about your feelings to get your point across. Sometimes all you need is a little help from a friend. There are some things about my life that are probably never going to change, like, for instance, my awesome metabolism, or the fact that I have APD. But I've only been in 5th grade for 5 days and I've already noticed a big change. The other day, when Mr. Barnes told me that the world was full of Dylan Samreens, I was pretty bummed out. But now that I know it's possible for a couple of zebras to outsmart a crocodile, life is starting to look up. Not only that, but it's Friday, pizza day. Friday. 49. I have always been Amma and Appa's shining sun and my grandparents' pride and joy. But today, I have learned something important. Winning is not always about shining the brightest. Sometimes it's about sharing the light with someone who has been waiting in the shadows all along. It is 11:30 and the bell is just rung. My first week at Albert Einstein Elementary School is almost over. Amma's black tongue was right after all. Things have turned out okay. As I pick up my tiffin box and walk out of room 506, I feel like a new person. I haven't decided yet whether I will eat my curd rice or try the pizza today, but it doesn't matter because I know I will not be eating my lunch alone. When I get to the lunchroom, I know my new friend will be saving a seat for me, and I am right. Dawn, dawn, dawn. Wasn't that good? Oh, they're friends now. I'm so happy.